Now in this week's video, I'll be covering with you a pre-ride inspection that I do for my motorcycle before taking it out, and also a weekly inspection and a monthly inspection that I do as well. So I hope you enjoy this week's video. Now, as I said, this video covers what I do for a pre-ride inspection along with the weekly and monthly inspections as well. Now, there are a recommendation of what to do in your manual, the things that are listed right here. And I'll go over some of those as well in mine, but I don't cover everything exactly. Now, some of these things do sound the same on each inspection from the pre-ride to weekly to monthly, but I promise you they are not. It starts out with the pre-ride inspection as a basic inspection, and then as it goes weekly and monthly, they will progress and get more extensive inspections as well. So I'll cover all that in this video. Now, each time before you start riding, it's best to check your compartments by simply just pulling up on them, making sure that it works. Check your back seat as well, and then check your little side compartments, basically just flicking them like that, just to make sure that they are secure. Now, one of the things you want to check is your tire pressure. Just press in, make sure that the tire does not squeeze in, and for Rykers, always check your lug nuts to make sure that they're in good condition. And while you're down here checking the tire pressure, simply just look underneath your bike, make sure there's no leaks, any oils or any fluids leaking out. Now, one of the next things you want to do is just start up your bike. Check your gauges and make sure there's no error messages. And while you got everything started, basically just go around real quick, check your lights. One of the best ways to check your blinkers are to press this little hazard light up here at the top, and if you notice in the reflection there that the blinkers are blinking. And that way you can check all of them at once without having to turn your left and your right turn signal off. To look into the front, and you'll see this little sticker here that shows your tire pressures and what they should be on both front and rear. Then simply check your tires, look and inspect them, make sure there's no dry cracking, dry rot, or any cuts or nails or anything. And then check your tire pressures with using a tire pressure gauge. For Rykers, again, you want to check the lug nuts, make sure that everything is secured on those lug nuts. I'll show a picture of them here and show a picture of them being cracked. That way you know what to check for as well. But also, whenever you're riding for the weekly inspection, just real quickly, wiggle the lug nuts, make sure everything's good on them and that none of them are loose. And then you're going to quickly go over a lot of the wiring that's inside of your motorcycle. Now, you just quickly glance at it for the weekly inspection, make sure everything looks good. And then you're going to want to check your oils by lifting up the panel here on the right. Now, this is going to be your brake fluid. You're going to want to pop the little metal clip here, remove this top, and then remove the rubber gasket. You'll see a minimum and a maximum line down there. You just want to make sure that your oil inside is at the maximum line or close to it. Put the cap back on. Next, you want to check your engine oil by taking this out and actually checking the engine oil. Now, I will have another video showing that in detail, but right now, just want to talk about it, and that is part of the weekly inspection. Make sure that you put the lid back on and tighten it down. And then also check your lights like you did before, quickly going over them, and your reflectors as well to make sure they're not peeling off. And then check your light housings to make sure they're not loose. Now, for your once a month inspection, you're going to check your oils just like you did on the weekly inspection. This time making sure to add anything if it's needed. And then also check your air filters by removing the panel that's on the left-hand side. And then your air filter is located right there. You'll just remove that and take out your air filter and check it. I have a Can-Am air filter, so I do have a video out on how to take that out and remove it that you'll want to watch to actually check yours as well. Now the next thing you want to do is check your belts. And you're going to go over them, make sure that there's no cracking, any cuts or anything in the belt. This one is in really good condition. I'll show you a picture above of what it looks like if there's any cracks or anything, but this belt is in good condition, so you want to check that. Put your bike in neutral, roll the bike back and forth so you can check other parts of the belts. And the best way to check to make sure that you have checked all of it is to paint a little spot right here, magic marker or some paint. So whenever you roll it, you know it goes all the way through, and when you come back to that mark, you know you've completed the belt inspection in full. Now monthly, it is best to go through your bike and check it. And I use this little mirror here to go inside of the bike and look around. You can buy this at your, basically any auto parts store, and then also at Harbor Freight. They are real good to get. But this will help you look into the bike. Now if you're not a maintenance mechanic, that is fine, don't worry. Just always checking your lines. You will eventually notice if something's wrong with it because you'll get used to what they look like. And then after a while, you'll actually see if there's anything that's wrong with them, like dry cracking, any leaks that are loose or not. And I would recommend doing that to all of your tubing that's inside of the motorcycle. Check all your lines like this one, wiggle them, take a look at them, make sure everything's in good shape. Now on the monthly inspection, what's different from the weekly inspection is that you want to go through your motorcycle, and if you'll notice these little risers right here, those are the wear indicators. So when your tread goes down to that, you know that it's getting close to time to get your motorcycle, and when it goes past that, it's showing that you're starting to go into too low of a tread. If you'll notice, there's 2 spots here. And on your front tire, you'll notice these indicators as well. There's 4 of them there. And again, when the tread comes down to that spot, you know that it's time to start looking for your tires. You don't have to get them right away, but that's your indicator showing that it's time to get some new tires. Now, once a month, not only do you want to check your lights and the lights housing, you also want to check your aftermarket parts. Like I have this bar on. I will actually take my sockets and go through and check all the tightness of them, wiggle them around, make sure that they're in good shape. And for your aftermarket lights, check all those connections, make sure all of them are working as well. Now on your monthly inspections, it is good to make sure that your battery cables are good and tight. So you want to take a little screwdriver or Phillips or a flathead, either one, but these are Phillips. Make sure that they're good and tight. Make sure that the cover is on the positive and all the wiring looks good and in good condition, no dry rotting, cracking or any cuts that you see on there as well.